Gloria Strode, and welcome to Straightforward. Today, I am so excited to be visiting with my friend Diane Pope from the Autism Hope Center. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, you know, we've been doing this for many years now, and of course, you are just a part of my circle of friends and team. We're celebrating women's history, and of course, you are history. You have made history as a mother in the field of autism. And you blazed the trail even when people didn't understand, they would not listen. Yeah. And as a mom, you were like, no, this is not right. And so I always wanted to continue to share Gary's story, because now we are a college graduate.
Yeah.
We own businesses. We graduated from CSU. He drives a car now. But when you first started with him, as a young child, there was a lot of frustration, because even the people at Auburn University wouldn't even listen to you, and you were like, they were like, he's brilliant, and you were like, yes, but something is wrong.
Right.
So share with our audience how we got to the Autism Hope Center, because this started as a mother with a mission.
Right. I didn't actually start at the Autism Hope Center, but I came along within a couple of years.
Okay.
And very quickly just kind of stepped into the role, I guess.
Okay, and then grew the organization.
Nobody else would do it.
Oh, I know, because you were a mom on a mission. Yes, no, you were a mom on a mission. You were living it. Yes.
And so, you know, back then it was like, I don't know, 1 in 110 kids or something on the spectrum. But of course now it's 1 in 36.
Really?
Yes.
So there are more.
There's more. And, you know, and a lot of people say, well, they're just better at diagnosing. It's more than that. So
you think it's environmental, or yes?
I personally think a lot of it is environmental, yes. And there's, you know, it's kind of controversial because people have their own ideas about it. But that seems to be the biggest factor. For me, it's in my husband's family.
Okay, so this wasn't something that just came.
They didn't know what it was. They just knew that there was, you know, some issues.
Okay.
But my son is just like my brother-in-law.
Oh, really?
I mean, you could stand them together. Yes.
Same personality, behavior traits.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I never knew that. And so what age did you realize that he learned different and that he was different? I know you were like, he mastered a lot of the skills, and that's where the confusion came in.
Yeah, because I mean, he taught himself to read at 3.
Really?
And he didn't want to read storybooks. He wanted me to take him to the library and get books on space.
Really?
So he
that high level
non-fiction books on space, and that's what he would read. And it was like
not the 3 Little Pigs.
No,
non-fiction on space.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he knew that stuff. I mean, you know, all the planets, all the fine details about every, you know, satellite, and then but his behaviors in school,
his social skills
were
not good.
But also, you know, he tended to melt down if he didn't get his way and that sort of thing. And of course, a lot of people think, oh, they're just spoiled.
Right.
But there's really more to it.
Well, I was ignorant to that, and I can say that because you trained me. And we had a conversation many years ago, because you've been a guest with us over these last 12 seasons. We're in the 12th season now. And I was saying about the kids that fall out in the grocery store.
Yeah.
And you said, well, it could be something like the tag in the clothes.
Right.
Or it's too much stimulation. The lights, the noise,
the smells.
The smell. See, I didn't know about the smells until you taught me that. So they get overstimulated, and then that's when they have the meltdown.
Right.
Right. And so you were dealing in the educational system where people were not as informed as they are today.
Well, and they very much felt that, you know, all kids had to follow the same path. They had to do the same things at the same time. And he just wasn't, they were trying to teach him the ABCs and how to count to 100 when he already knew his 1 through 15 times table. And, you know, it was just crazy.
And so they were trying to force him a square into a round peg, trying to use the same formula and microchip, and it didn't work for him because he had far exceeded that. So then he was bored, and they thought he had a behavior issue, but it was something greater than that. Right.
Yeah. So, I said, well, give him some first grade books or something to read while you're doing that. But they didn't want to do that. He had to do it the same as everybody else. So that caused a lot of problems. But, and then they said, just put him in a gifted class. And we, living in Smith Station, there wasn't a gifted class, really. And plus, he wouldn't cooperate with the testing.
So he had to take a test to be in the gifted class, although he was already reading way above grade level, already had mastered a lot of the math skills, and they still wanted him to take a test.
Well, he wouldn't cooperate with the testing for the with the psychologist either. So
really,
well, he just wanted to do what he wanted to do.
And it wasn't because he was not trained well, didn't have good home training.
I
tried. No, it's like, oh, they're just spoiled and the mom let him have his way. But he was operating at a higher intellectual level than where they were trying to, as we say, dumb him down to where the little kids were. He had far exceeded that.
I guess he didn't see the point in it all. Just
the logic. It wasn't logical to him. Wow.
So anyway, as he started to get older, a lot of it became more noticeable. And this is before computers. Now I'm aging myself here. Right. So I had to read all the books I could find and try and figure out what was going on. And then finally I went back to Auburn and I said, okay, it's either autism or nonverbal learning disorder. Tell me which it is, because I got to have some answers. We got to get him some help. And so what did they say? They said, so you're going to Auburn University, and that's a very reputable school, and they put out some brilliant people, but you had to tell them what you thought it was, and for them to look further into it and give you their opinion. Well, and this is, of course, I don't know, a lot of years ago, but it was just after the DSM-4 came out. We're on DSM-5 now. What is DSM-4? It's the diagnostic tools that they use. Okay. And so before that, really, the only ones that got diagnosed with autism were the ones that, had no speech, couldn't... no verbal communication. Just, kind of... They were low performing on the spectrum. That need lots of support. That need a lot of support. And so, but that changed as people got used to the DSM-4, and now we're on the 5. So he was diagnosed with autism, and then with Asperger's, actually. Okay. We don't have Asperger's anymore, though. It's Autism 1, I know. Okay, so now we've changed that. It's like, see, you just really got to keep up with the stuff. You really do, and that's why you're here. So what we're going to do is go to our first break to our sponsors, and we'll be right back. We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Straightforward is brought to you by State Senator Ed Harbison, serving the citizens of Georgia's 15th Senatorial District and on the front lines for veterans every day. Progressive Funeral Home, family owned and operated since 1952. The George Ford legacy of high standards continues today in the compassionate and professional services provided, a touch of dignity for those who care. Progressive Funeral Home, 4235 St. Mary's Road, trusted by generations. Whole Patient Healthcare. Dr. Jada Rimes-Bacote is board certified in family medicine. She believes the best patient care includes practical, individualized lifestyle changes. Located at 1338 13th Avenue, Columbus, 706-641-2080, or visit wholepatienthealthcare.com. And welcome back to Straightforward. I am visiting with my amazing friend Diane Pope from the Autism Hope Center. I tell you, you've been in the fight for decades for those on the autism spectrum. Each month, twice a month, you host the coffee for parents to come in to get support and information on resources. You are a subject matter expert, self-taught. Because the people were not listening, you are a real mother. You knew something was not right,
You didn't just take what the system said and you was like, no, I guess I'm going to have to teach the system. And that's probably why I just think you're so fabulous, because no, you know, you just blaze the trail, and if they don't open the door, you'll just kick it in, because that's what you needed to do to help your child.
And that was the most important thing to me.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you didn't kill anybody along the way. You might have ruffled a little feathers, because sometimes people don't want to get out of their comfort zone or what they think they know about something, but you actually lived it. And so when you went over to Auburn and you share it with them, and so now you say we no longer have Asperger's, which is what
he was diagnosed with.
He was diagnosed with at what age?
I think he was 12.
At 12. So you had suffered and struggled for all those years till he became 12 years old.
Yep.
Wow. So every day you were like holding your breath. The school's not going to call you.
Yeah, I couldn't work because I never knew when I was going to have to go pick him up.
Really?
Yeah.
So that was your full-time thing.
Yeah.
He's just managing him. And so now you're saying that we don't have that diagnoses anymore. They're labeling that the first level of autism.
Autism 1.
Autism
There's
1.
3 levels.
Okay. So autism 1, 2, and 3 levels.
Yeah.
Okay. Share with our audience what that looks like.
Well, autism 1 would be the ones that don't need very much support.
Okay.
And it used to be classed as higher functioning. And it was assumed that they could really just basically didn't need much help, and they could just get on with everything on their own, which isn't true. Sometimes they have different issues that still need help with. Autism 2 is the ones that need a little bit more support, and autism 3 is where they need a lot of support.
Okay, so is it autism 3 where they're nonverbal?
They can be nonverbal and be a 1.
Really?
Yeah, just because they're nonverbal doesn't mean they don't have anything to say.
Okay, and so how are we managing that? See, for the young parents that didn't pay in blood, sweat, and tears like you, no, really, because you paid in blood, sweat, and tears. Even with the teaching him how to drive, you say, oh, he's learning, he can drive now, and I survived. So you did everything. But for some of the young parents, they are not as mature, seasoned, learned, and probably very frustrated. You know, and so sometimes our first thing we see the young parents is sometimes children are over-medicated to control them in the classroom. I'm not hating on that. I know we need medicine for things, but I have seen children over-medicated. So how are we communicating? They have their way of communicating if they're nonverbal?
Communication devices.
Okay.
Is the best way.
Communication devices.
Yeah.
So we have different tools now that you didn't have at your. Okay.
Right. But he was always very verbal. In fact, sometimes I used to pray that he'd just be quiet.
He was too verbal.
And he was going to tell me everything about those planets.
Right. He was educating you.
Yeah.
Right. And so he has graduated from Columbus State.
Yeah.
And what was his degree in?
Environmental science with a minor in biology.
Environmental science with a minor in biology. Isn't that amazing? No, really, it is.
It was tough. It took him a long time to do it. And I think that's the message, really. You've got to stick with it. Don't give up. It might take longer, but that's fine.
It can be done.
Yeah.
It can be done. So how long did it take us to teach him how to drive? Because I remember when you were teaching him how to drive and you were like, well, it didn't kill me today, you know.
The first time, my husband said, well, all you have to do, you know.
Typical man.
All you have to do, when you get to the end of the street, just let him drive back down the hill to the house.
Right.
Well, we get to the house and my knuckles are white. I'm holding on to the handle.
Right.
And he's almost wiped out 3 mailboxes on the way.
Oh, Lord. So it wasn't as easy as Dad thought it was in his mind.
No.
Right.
And so we sent him to driver's ed at Columbus State. And within, a short period of time, the driving instructor called me and said, I think he's going to need a bit more. we thought.
Right.
So we paid for the extra lessons and everything, but every day for a year, I picked him up at school and I made him drive wherever we were going.
Really?
He didn't
And so you were well rested and your nerves were rested.
Well, I wouldn't say that exactly.
But you survived.
I survived. And, you know, he really didn't, I think he got his license right after he graduated from high school. So he was late because he didn't want to do it for the longest time.
Right.
You know, everyone's driving at, I don't know what it is, 16 or something.
Right.
He was not the slightest bit interested. But, and it's the same thing, that developmental delay.
Right.
You just have to wait until they're ready.
They're ready. And when they are ready, then they will excel. Because you told me he has 2 businesses.
Yeah.
Right, of his own.
Yeah.
That he came up with, not you and not
no,
Dad.
I had nothing to do with it.
Okay, and then they're involved with environmental science and then something else, and now he wants to go to school for something else again.
Yeah, well, he wants to be a researcher at the moment, and then he's going to get his master's, I guess.
A master's, isn't that something? But you couldn't see this when you had to go to school every day and pick him up.
No,
you did
I was
not.
like just going insane.
Right.
Yeah.
You were just like trying to get to over the first hurdle.
And a lot of parents with autistic kids will understand this. You go to pick up your child, and as you're walking to the classroom, it's like your heart is just going lower and lower and lower because you know they're going to hit you with all the stuff they did all day.
Right. That dread.
Yeah.
It's like holding your breath.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it from the teacher or the principal. Right.
Yeah.
And so, but you survived it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's done well, and now your mission is, and that's what I really love about you and being an advocate, is you're trying to help other families and then train our community leaders, those that's in public safety, that interface, so they know what that looks like. If there is an episode where we have paramedics are coming out or law enforcement that's coming out. And then you have a lot of community events that you do in support of families and the community, and you do this, and you've been doing it for a long time with no pay. So what we're going to do before we get into that part, because you know I always have to make sure I remind people that this is something that you do because it's a calling. Is not something that you're getting paid to do. We're going to go to our break to our sponsors, and we'll be right back. We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Columbus Pediatrics GA, working together to build lifelong relationships between our staff and patients by consistently providing compassion, excellence, and value with 2 locations. The Old Town office at 3580 Massey Lane, Suite F, 706-596-8667. The Midtown office, 1900 11th Avenue, Suite A, 706-323-3400. ColumbusPediatricsGA.com. Barbara's Cleaning Service, a 5-star commercial service with satisfied customers in Georgia and South Carolina, built on the principle that every detail matters. Barbara's Cleaning Service, a new season building a family legacy. The Autism Hope Center. Diane Pope has dedicated the last 3 decades ensuring that families had support and resources for their loved ones on the autism spectrum. Join the Autism Hope Center for fellowship and resources, located at 200 Hamilton Road, Suite B, or call 706-604-6333. The Miley Agency. Gerald Miley and his team can assist you in every aspect of your insurance needs. Call today for your free quote at 706-996-2045 or visit themiley.agency.com. And welcome back to Straightforward. I'm visiting with my amazing friend, Diane Pope, one of the world's best autism advocates. This is Women's History. I wanted to celebrate you, your hard work. I have seen you boots on the ground, helping other families that didn't have the resources, didn't know where to start, making sure you stayed on top of the laws, to let people know what was there to help them as they try to navigate, helping families once their children get a certain age to try to figure out, and you host events for the young adults so they just don't end up sitting on the couch. See, I know all of your work over the years. If you ever need a witness, I can show up and be a witness. No, and I've seen you at your annual events and fundraisers, and there you are pulling up, unloading the car, setting everything up. And this is not a paid job for you. It started as a mother with a mission. And so I always want to honor you for that, because, you know, a lot of people do a lot of things for the publicity, the outside show, the accolades, working their resume. But that's not what this is for you. And I've observed you over the years. You help people understand about having the IEPs at school, why that's important. The state resources that are available. I didn't know that at one point, I don't know now with the climate we're in right now, but at one point there was funding for the proper garments and clothing for children on the spectrum, so they would not, you know, have those episodes that you shared with me when I thought some of them were just spoiled and showing out in the public because I'm an old school grandmother.
Right.
I've learned so much from you over the years. But some of your big events you have during the year, and everything is free. So we always need donations. Write $1 million check to the Autism Hope Center, and it will be used wisely. But you have your big event coming up. Share that with our audience.
Okay, so April is Autism Awareness Month, and we always have a resource fair. It's the largest resource fair on autism in the area. But this year we decided that we were going to bring back the walk, and so we're combining the two events.
Okay, so they'll be on the same day.
They'll be on the same day.
Okay, so we have the Autism Walk and then the Autism Resource Fair.
Yeah, and
so what does that look like, and where will that be?
It will be at Cascade Hills Church by the Student Center by the park.
Okay.
And so we'll have bouncy houses, we'll have children's activities, face painting, DJ.
So we'll have music and food and then activities for the kids.
Really fun day, but it's a big fundraiser for us. It's how we can support these families. There's about 4,000 individuals on the spectrum in the Chattahoochee Valley. So
4,000 on the spectrum in the Chattahoochee Valley. And so when you're doing the coffees twice a month for the families and try to help them navigate and find resources for their person on the spectrum, because they're not all little kids anymore. You have some young adults now.
Yeah.
I know that because I get to dance with them at the at the annual gala. I have my special friend who always teasing me, looks like a Calvin Klein model. He said, "I'll see you next year." But yeah.
Ethan?
Yes, he's fabulous. But anyway, so all those activities you're doing all year long. You're having the fall festival for them. You're having parents' night out. I just want you to share with the audience that all the things that you're doing is not just one event you do all year.
No, I mean, every month we have activities for the children and families. In fact, we just started the chess club for teens.
Okay.
And it's been really interesting to see how great they are at picking it up.
Okay, because I can't play chess.
Me neither.
Okay.
I'm watching it going.
So we have the chess club for the teens.
Yeah.
We have the coffee twice a month for the parents and the supporters, whoever, and then the caregivers.
We do teen get-togethers. We do the we say parents' night out.
Mm-hmm. And then you have the sensory at Chuck E. Cheese or whatever. Yeah.
Chuck E. Cheese.
And
Sensory Sunday.
Right.
So, you know, there's always something to do. The best thing to do is follow us on Facebook.
Okay.
That's where we really post, you know, a lot of activities, but also webinars and things that help you learn more about your child's issues,
right?
Whatever they might be.
Right.
With children on the spectrum, they're all different.
Right.
Every single one of them is different.
Right. So it's not a one-size-fits-all.
No.
Okay. So the walk and the Walk for Autism and the resource fair is in April.
And it will be Saturday, April the 26th.
Okay.
Starts at 10, and we'll walk at probably 12.
Okay.
And then we'll be over with by 1.
So, and you need other community providers.
We need sponsors.
Okay.
To help pay for the event.
Right.
And then we need exhibitors, we need volunteers, and walkers.
Okay.
You can make a team, join a team. We got some cool black shirts this year, which we don't normally go for the black, but these are cool.
Right. Okay.
And so we have a new site. It's on Pledge It. I just posted it on our Facebook page this morning, and you can sign up for everything.
Okay.
You can donate. You can fill in the sponsor thing, the exhibitors.
And that's on social media.
Yes.
But if they want to deliver you a check, where would they? Because some of our older viewers, mature girls, more mature than you and I, might not be on social media.
Right.
So a lot of our viewers are retired teachers and ministers and people like that. So they can always mail you or drop a check or a donation by your office.
Right. Our office is 2000 Hamilton Road, Suite B.
So before we run out of time, we need people for the resource fair. We need community providers. We need sponsors. Any donations. You can create a team and walk.
Yep.
If you don't have a family member or someone you know on the spectrum and you just want to be a good community member, you can still form a team. Our college students that's in education, this is a good time for you to get some exposure.
Businesses.
We want everybody to come and participate and support. And again, we want you to go to the Autism Hope Facebook page. The information is kept there. There's twice a month event for parents for coffee, and there are other events that's going on, the chess, the sensory days for the games and various things that's going on. And you've been doing this a very long time. It's a thankless job, but you are fully committed. And I just want to make sure that the community will get behind you and that they will support you. So again, your big event that's Saturday, April 26th from 10 to 1 at Cascade Hills over by the Student Center.
Yeah.
And if people want to find out more information, they can go to your website. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, I thank you for coming, and you are a woman that has made history, amazing mother, and an excellent role model, and I just want you to stay in the fight.
Thank you so much. You are just so good the way you support us.
Well, I'm going to continue to support you. When we win the lottery, we got to play first, though. We're going to get a big check. I don't know how to play, but we'll learn. This has been straightforward. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Until next time, be blessed.
What up, world? What's up, Columbus? Be sure to tune in every Sunday, Straightforward with Gloria Strode, right here on NBC 38.